You know what breaks my heart? When someone over 60 tells me they feel like a shadow of who they used to be. They think it's just normal aging. But let me be clear. Fatigue, foggy memory, low mood, these aren't just symptoms of age. They're symptoms of deficiency, of missing nutrients that your brain and body are starving for. And I've seen people in their 60 or 70 or 75, even 90-ish, come back to life just by adding what they were missing. That's what this video is about. Not magic pills, not false hope, but the real science behind vitamins your body craves as it gets older and how they can change everything. You know, most people think that aging means losing your memory, your energy, your joy, but it doesn't have to be that way. I've seen 70, 80, even 90-year-olds completely turn their brain health around. The truth is, your brain can heal, but only if you treat it right. We spend our whole lives taking care of everything else, our families, our homes, our jobs. But no one teaches us how to take care of the one thing that runs everything, our brain. I've worked with thousands of older adults who felt lost, foggy, anxious, and with the right food, the right sleep, the right habits, everything changed. It didn't happen overnight, but it did happen. So if you're watching this and wondering, is it too late for me? Let me be clear. No, it's not. Your brain is waiting for you to start today, not next week, not when it gets worse, right now. Try one thing today. Maybe walk 20 minutes. Maybe swap sugar for something green. Maybe just breathe and give yourself permission to slow down. You still have time. You still have power. And your brain, it's ready to heal. Let's start with something simple but deeply powerful. Vitamin D, we call it the sunshine vitamin for a reason. And it's not just about bones. It's about your brain. Low vitamin D is linked to depression, anxiety, memory loss, and even Alzheimer's. And here's the sad part. Over 50% of older adults are deficient and don't even know it. They stay inside more, wear sunscreen, and their skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight. That's why it's so important to get tested and supplement if needed. The right level for brain health isn't just normal, it's optimal. We aim for blood levels between 50, 80 m/ml. This one change alone has helped so many of my patients feel lighter, think clearer, and sleep better. It's not just a vitamin. It's brain food. Next up, vitamin B12. This is what I call the energy vitamin. It helps make red blood cells and keeps your nerves and brain working. But here's the problem. As we age, our stomach produces less acid, making it harder to absorb B12 from food. Even if you eat meat or dairy, you could still be deficient. And a deficiency can look like dementia, confusion, poor memory, mood swings, even hallucinations. Patients who were misdiagnosed with Alzheimer's, and it turned out to be low B12. That's why I always check B12 levels for my older patients. And here's the key. Don't just look at the normal range, look at how you feel. We want B12 levels above 600 pg/ml for optimal brain performance. And sometimes a simple sublingual or injection can restore clarity almost overnight. Then there's vitamin K2, the forgotten vitamin. Most people think of K1 for blood clotting, but K2 is essential for calcium placement, helps keep calcium out of your arteries, and puts it where it belongs, in your bones and teeth. Why does that matter? Because older adults often take calcium supplements for bone health, but without K2, that calcium can end up in the arteries, increasing the risk of heart disease. K2 works synergistically with vitamin D to support both heart and brain health. Studies show that higher K2 intake is associated with less arterial stiffness and better blood flow to the brain. I recommend getting K2 through natto, a fermented soy product, or a supplement with MK7. That's the most bioavailable form. Let's talk about omega-3 fatty acids. especially DHA and EPA. If you want to nourish your brain, omega-3s are non-negotiable. Your brain is nearly 60% fat, and omega-3s help build the structure of your brain cells, reduce inflammation, and support memory. I often scan brains of people in their 60s and 70s, and when they're low in omega-3s, their brains look older than they should. But when they supplement consistently, we often see better memory, sharper focus, and even emotional resilience. Wild-caught salmon, sardines, flax seeds, walnuts, they're great. But sometimes a high-quality fish oil supplement is needed. I usually recommend at least 1,000 milligrams of combined DHA and EPA per day for cognitive support. So let's move on to magnesium, a mineral most people ignore, but your brain never forgets. Magnesium is essential for over 300 enzymatic processes in the body. It helps you relax, sleep better, calm anxiety, and even reduce brain fog. And guess what? Around 70% of older adults are deficient. Why? Because magnesium gets depleted by stress, caffeine, medications like diuretics, and even poor soil quality in modern farming. When magnesium levels drop, you might feel tense, moody, or mentally scattered. I've had patients tell me they felt like themselves again after adding magnesium glycinate or magnesium threonate forms that cross the blood-brain barrier. If you're struggling with sleep or anxiety, don't overlook this simple mineral. It might be the missing piece in your brain's puzzle. Another powerhouse vitamin, folate, also known as vitamin B9. But don't confuse it with folic acid, the synthetic version found in most processed foods. Folate is vital for DNA repair, mood regulation, and detoxifying your brain from harmful substances. Low folate is linked to depression, cognitive decline, and even increased homocysteine, a marker of brain and heart inflammation. What's scary is that older adults are often deficient due to poor absorption or over-reliance on folic acid. I recommend checking your MT. In that case, look for methylfolate supplements, the active form your brain can use right away. It's another game changer for clarity, energy, and long-term protection. Let's not forget vitamin C. Yes, it helps with immunity, but it also protects your brain. Vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant that fights oxidative stress, a major contributor to aging and neurodegeneration. In fact, the brain holds more vitamin C than almost any other organ. And when you're under stress, whether emotional, physical, or environmental, your body uses up vitamin C faster. Studies show that people with higher levels of vitamin C perform better on memory and cognition tests. I often recommend 500 to 1,000 IMGs per day, ideally from a liposome or a buffered form that's gentle on the stomach. You can also load up on foods like bell peppers, strawberries, and kiwi. Remember, antioxidants aren't a luxury. They're your brain's armor. An often overlooked vitamin that's crucial as we age is zinc. It's a trace mineral with big responsibilities, from immune defense to wound healing to brain signaling. Zinc helps regulate neurotransmitters like dopamine and GABA, which are essential for mood, focus, and motivation. But here's what I see far too often. People over 60 who feel sluggish, irritable, or confused, and they're actually zinc deficient. Why? Because zinc absorption declines with age, and medications like antacid or blood pressure drugs can make it worse. Blood tests don't always reflect your true tissue levels, so I often suggest a trial of 1530 pmgs per day, ideally zinc picolinate or citrate. Just be careful not to overdo it. Balance it with copper to avoid imbalances. The results can be fast and surprising. Let's pause for a moment to talk about coenzyme Q10. CoQ10, this isn't a vitamin, but it functions like one. It's found in every cell of your body, especially in the heart and brain, and it's essential for producing energy at the cellular level. Think of it like fuel for your brain's engine. As we age, and especially if you take statins for cholesterol, your CoQ10 levels plummet. And that's when fatigue, memory loss, and even muscle weakness can set in. I've had patients tell me they got their life back after starting CoQ10, usually in the form of ubiquinol, which is more absorbable. I typically recommend 100 to 200 milligrams daily for older adults, especially those dealing with brain fog or cardiovascular issues. It's one of the best energy boosters that works at the root cause. Now let's talk about the often missed vitamin E. But not just any vitamin E. The standard form, alpha tocopherol, is only one piece of the puzzle. What you really want is a full spectrum vitamin E with tocotriols and multiple tocopherols. Why? Because this broader form has powerful anti-inflammatory effects in the brain. It supports nerve health, improves circulation, and protects against oxidative damage, especially in the aging brain. Research shows tocotrienols can help slow cognitive decline, especially when paired with other antioxidants. I tell my patients, if you're taking vitamin E, make sure it's the right kind, natural, mixed tocopherols, not synthetic, and always paired with a fat-intaking meal for best absorption. Small detail, big impact. More vitamin. That's critical and often ignored is choline. This nutrient is the precursor to acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter of memory and learning. Low choline levels have been linked to poor attention, memory lapses, and even shrinkage of the brain's hippocampus. Older adults need more choline, not less, but it's rarely included in multivitamins. I recommend adding foods like eggs, liver, and Brussels sprouts, or a supplement like alpha GPC or citicoline, which crosses the blood-brain barrier and directly feeds your neurons. Patients often tell me they feel sharper within a week or two. Choline is one of those hidden gems that makes a massive difference when it's missing and can be life-changing when it's restored. You've probably heard of probiotics, but let me tell you why they matter so much for brain health. Your gut and your brain are deeply connected. We call it the gut-brain axis. The bacteria in your gut help produce neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. When your gut is out of balance, your brain suffers. I've seen patients with brain fog, depression, and anxiety completely transform after improving their gut microbiome. This isn't just about digestion. It's about inflammation, immunity, and even memory. I recommend a broad-spectrum probiotic with at least 10 strains and 20 billion CFUs, plus prebiotic fiber to feed those good bugs. Or better yet, start eating fermented foods like kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi. Heal your gut, and you might just heal your brain. Let's shift to something many people don't associate with vitamins: brain inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is like a slow-burning fire in the brain, and it's a major factor in aging, memory loss, and even depression. What helps put that fire out? Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric. Curcumin isn't technically a vitamin, but it behaves like one when it comes to healing. It's one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories we know. But not all curcumin supplements are equal. Standard turmeric powder doesn't absorb well. What you want is curcumin with piperine from black pepper or a liposomal form for maximum absorption. I recommend 500 to 1,000 mED daily for older adults. It supports mood, memory, joint health, and it's one of my favorite tools to help patients think younger, longer. Another critical vitamin to discuss is vitamin A, but not the kind from synthetic pills. We're talking about real, bioavailable vitamin A from whole foods or retinol palmitate supplements. This vitamin supports your vision, immune system, and even neurological function. As we age, we become more vulnerable to infections, dry eyes, and even night blindness, often signs of low vitamin A. But here's the catch. Too much synthetic vitamin A can be toxic. That's why I prefer food-based sources like liver, egg yolks, and grass-fed dairy, or carefully dosed supplements under guidance. One thing to remember, vitamin A is fat soluble, so always take it with healthy fats. You don't need a megadose, just the right amount to stay sharp, see clearly, and feel supported from the inside out. Let's dive into selenium, another trace mineral that has an outsized impact on aging. Selenium supports thyroid health, detoxification, and immune defense. But what most people don't realize is that selenium is also crucial for your brain. It helps neutralize harmful free radicals and supports the production of glutathione, your body's master antioxidant. Low selenium levels have been linked to poor mood, slower cognition, and higher risk of neurodegenerative disease. Brazil nuts are the best natural source. Just 2 a day can provide your daily dose. But be careful not to overdo it. Selenium has a narrow therapeutic window. Aim for 100 to 200 milligrams per day, ideally through food, unless advised otherwise. Small mineral, massive protection, especially as the years add up. Another key player we haven't touched yet is iron. And yes, it matters even after 60. While too much iron can be harmful, especially in men, too little can be equally dangerous, especially for older women or vegetarians. Iron is essential for oxygen delivery and energy production. Low levels can cause fatigue, brain fog, dizziness, and mood swings. The tricky part is that iron deficiency can be masked by chronic illness or inflammation. So I always recommend testing ferritin, your iron storage marker, not just standard iron levels. If it's low, don't guess. Use gentle iron supplements like iron biglycinate and pair them with vitamin C to boost absorption. When iron returns to optimal, people often say it's like waking up from a fog. Now, let's explore L-theanine. Not a vitamin, but an amino acid that works wonders for older adults dealing with stress or insomnia. Found naturally in green tea, L-theanine promotes calm alertness, the kind of mental state where you feel relaxed but focused. That's golden, especially for seniors who struggle with anxious thoughts, racing minds, or poor sleep. I've had patients take 200 mg of L-theanine before bed and sleep soundly for the first time in years. Others use it in the morning to reduce caffeine jitters and stay present. It's non-sedating, non-addictive, and deeply supportive of brainwave balance. This is what I call smart calm. When you feel safe, your brain can rest. And when your brain rests, healing begins. Let's take a moment to talk about resveratrol, the antioxidant found in red grapes and berries. It's known for its anti-aging effects at the cellular level, especially in the mitochondria, which power every cell in your body. Resveratrol has been shown to support brain plasticity, memory, and blood flow, and even mimic some of the effects of calorie restriction, which is linked to longevity. For older adults, this means potential protection against Alzheimer's, heart disease, and inflammation. I typically recommend 100 to 250 mgs daily, especially for people who don't drink red wine or eat a Mediterranean diet, but don't rely on wine as your source. Alcohol cancels out many benefits. A clean supplement paired with other polyphenols like quercetin can create a real brain boost over time. Speaking of brain boosters, let's not overlook vitamin B6. This nutrient is involved in over 100 enzyme reactions in the brain, including the production of serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. Without enough B6, you can feel depressed, anxious, even paranoid. And sadly, B6 deficiency is common in older adults, especially those taking medications like blood pressure drugs or diuretics. I recommend checking blood levels and, if needed, supplementing with the active form pyridoxal. 5-phosphate, P5P. Aim for 20 to 50 mg daily depending on your needs. This vitamin doesn't just lift mood, it lifts the fog. It's one of the simplest changes that can lead to major improvements in emotional and cognitive clarity. Let's highlight another unsung hero, niacin, or vitamin B3. It helps turn food into energy and plays a key role in brain cell repair. But there's more. High-dose niacin, especially niacinamide, has been studied for its neuroprotective properties, including benefits for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. I don't recommend megadoses without supervision, but even moderate levels, around 100 to 250 milligrams, can enhance mitochondrial function, reduce inflammation, and support mental clarity. Watch out for flushing with standard niacin. That's normal, but can be uncomfortable. If it bothers you, switch to non-flush forms like niacinamide or inositol hexanocotinate. Niacin is one of those vintage vitamins. A comeback, and for good reason. Now, I know we've covered a lot. Vitamin D, B12, omega-3s, magnesium, CoQ10, and so many more. But I want to be very clear. It's not about taking every single supplement. It's about being intentional with your brain and your body. Test, don't guess. Eat real food. Move with purpose. And when needed, add targeted nutrients to restore what time may have taken away. Aging doesn't mean decline. It means paying closer attention. If you're feeling tired, forgetful, or down, that's not just age. That's your brain asking for help. And the right vitamins can be part of that healing. Small changes, daily wins. That's how real transformation happens. And I want you to remember something. It's never too late. I've seen people in their 60s, 70s, even 90s start new chapters, more alive, more present, and more connected than they ever imagined. Why? Because they decided to take care of their brain, to treat it like the treasure it is. You can too. You don't need to be perfect. Just start. Maybe you take omega-3s today. Maybe you ask your doctor to check your B12 next visit. Maybe you swap soda for water or add leafy greens to your plate. Whatever it is, take the first step. Then take another and keep going. Your brain and your life will thank you. There's one more thing I want to leave you with. You are not broken. You are not too old, and you are not alone. If no one has told you this lately, let me say it clearly. You matter. Your story isn't over. The brain is the most healing organ in the body. If you give it what it needs, nourish it with the right nutrients, protect it with the right habits, and love it with the same care you give to others. You've spent your life giving. Now it's time to give to yourself, not out of guilt, not out of fear, but out of the belief that your best days can still be ahead. So today, make a promise, not a resolution, a promise that you will